Hey there, fellow adult collectors. Welcome back. David Eon here with another discussion, sharing it with you, with the community today, talking about the Hasbro Pulse, or HasLab, if you will, SkyStriker project. Just yesterday, we had a little discussion about the Rancor monster, speculating as to whether or not it was going to make it. Personally, I did not feel like it was going to make it, and I gave some reasons why, and indeed, that project is washed out. It failed to reach its goal. I think it topped off at 8,200. If I'm wrong about those numbers, you can just go ahead and comment down below. The last I saw of it, it was around 8,200. The SkyStriker, I figured the SkyStriker might make it, but I don't know if it's going to get all the way through the tiers. Now, Hasbro's made a lot of mistakes with these projects. First of all, they get three of them on top of each other. They had the Rancor, the SkyStriker, and of course Spengler's Proton Pack, all closing out around the same time, because the Proton Pack has a few days left on it, although that has more than reached its funding goal. It reached its funding goal a couple of weeks in. A lot of cosplayers out there really want that pack. You know, and I get it. It's fine. It's whatever your tastes are. Now, the SkyStriker I was more so interested in than the Rancor monster, because I felt like you were getting more from it, even though I think the SkyStriker itself is kind of a mistake. You know, and again, it's a matter of opinion, but it seems to me the whole point of HasLab is to put something out there that you really are not expecting to find retail. It would be too impractical for Walmart to carry. For example, like the sail barge, Jabba's sail barge, that you weren't going to pick that up in Target. Or the Galactus project, you weren't going to pick that up in Walmart. You know what I mean? So it made more sense, and those worked better than this. This seems to me like something you could go and pick up. The 30th anniversary SkyStriker comes to mind, thinking along those lines, which, by the way, was a shelf warmer, was it not? Am I mistaken about that? I don't think that did well. So they went and made a SkyStriker again, and I'm like, is that a great idea? Now, taking a look at this, 7 hours to go, and there are 10,756 backers. Target was 10,000. It made it. And when I looked at this afternoon at about 2 o'clock, it was only at about 8,200, 8,300, something like that. And I was saying, okay, it's probably going to make it before it closes. But is it going to reach all of its funding goals? That is it going to tier out? Because the real appeal from this, and the real appeal, I think, for a lot of people, and why the Rancor failed so badly, was a lot of people are looking at this and saying, well, the SkyStriker, it's okay, but, you know, what else are you going to do for me? And so those tiers are really going to sell it. The tiers are really what's going to push it through. And Hasbro did better with the tiers on this, because they went back to O-ring. First of all, that's a lot of people are very excited about that, because that's what people wanted in the first place. When Hasbro came out with the retro line G.I. Joes, everybody just sat there and said, hey, these are repainted anniversary figures. What the hell, Hasbro? We want freaking O-rings. And I had speculated about that. I talked about it on the weekly roundups that we do here on Saturday mornings, that eventually Hasbro's going to give you O-rings, because if enough people whine about it, they're gonna fold up. Well, you got them. They're in this project. They're all O-ring figures. That's what the collectors wanted in the first place. They finally got it. So they're sitting there looking at this project, seeing O-ring figures, and some figures that they have not seen before, as well as figures that have already been done that haven't been done like this. And you see there that they've got Ace and his co-pilot, the original pilot of the SkyStriker, I believe, from the comics. Am I wrong about that? And again, you know, if I missed something, you can go ahead and post it in the comment section down below. So they're not just giving you the SkyStriker, they're giving you this extra equipment. They're giving you Ace, they're giving you a co-pilot that's never been done. And there's the full spread of what comes with it, which is pretty decent. And the Tomcat, it's an F-14 Tomcat, right, is to scale to the figure for the first time. So that's appealing. That's kind of appealing. Now, because Hasbro was nervous, the Rancor looked like it was going to fail. The SkyStriker looked like it was going to fail. At the last minute, they threw 3 additional figures in on top of what they were already offering. So these 3 will be available with the initial backing of minimum 10,000 backers. You get Cobra Commander, you get a Cobra officer who is supposed to be the pilot. And I'm like, you know, that feels kind of like an okie doke to me. I think they should have given you an original looking figure instead of just repainting a Cobra officer here as the pilot. But then you do get a ground crew figure here. And I'm like, okay, the ground crew figure, that hasn't been done before. That's cool. And they give you a separate set of stickers to accent your SkyStriker if you want it to be a Cobra Jet as opposed to a G.I. Joe jet. That's interesting. You know, that's interesting. And it'd be interesting to see how many people make it a Cobra versus a G.I. Joe detailing. And of course it comes with the parachutes, the ejector seats and parachutes, which is a nice touch. But then you have the tiers. And so what I'm sitting here speculating at this point as we watch this inch along, keep in mind it's almost at 11,000 and it's got 7 hours to go. And again, it could have been that a lot of people have been sitting on their hands waiting to see if the project was going to get funded at all before they wanted to bother to get in on this. LPH has been trying really hard to push me into getting this. She wants me to really get this, and I'm thinking about it myself. I'm still on the fence. Crazy enough, I know it's almost time up here, and I'm on the fence. But Scarlet dressed as the pilot, which has not been done before, I believe. So that's cool, but that's at 13, and I'm like, is it going to make it to 13? It probably will make it to 13, but then you go all the way to 16 for your Halo jumper, and then 18 for the ground crew, the pit crew here, that those figures I don't believe have ever been done before, and that's going to come as a 2-pack. These figures should all come carded. They should all come carded from Hasbro. And I'm like, I don't know if it's going to make it past the 13. It'd be interesting if suddenly it jumps off and all of that gets funded, but it doesn't seem like it's very likely. And I'm just curious to see what people think about this. You know, do you think it was a bad idea to use the SkyStriker? Because I think they should stick more so with play sets if they're going to do stuff like this. I think a really detailed play set from Star Wars would have been more appealing, or a really detailed G.I. Joe play set, because a raw G.I. Joe in the 80s, Hasbro knocked it out with play sets. They had some of the best play sets ever made produced for the G.I. Joe line in the 80s. They really did. I mean, the Terrordrome, the USS Flag, I mean, come on. The Tactical Battle Platform. They had some great play sets with some great play value. And I would have liked to have seen a big elaborate play set that hadn't been done before. Something like that. Or something outrageous like Cobra Commander's like hover carrier. You remember the gigantic, I forget what the actual name of it is, I just said hover carrier, but you know what I mean. The huge jet that he used to fly in with the Cobra face on it. Something that's never been done, that's just outrageously big, that you know would never make it to Walmart. I'm really skeptical that this is going to hit 18 at this point. 7 hours to go and it's just rounding 11. Remains to be seen if it's going to make it to that pit crew. It might make it to Scarlet. I think it's going to make it to Scarlet. If it makes it to 16 and picks up the Halo jumper, I'll be surprised. But, you know, we'll see. Guys, what do you think? Do you think they made a mistake picking the SkyStriker? Do you think it's overpriced at, what is it, $239 or $229? $229, $230. Do you think that's too much? Do you think the figures, carded figures coming with this counterbalances that price? Is it worth it? Do you like the idea that they brought the O-rings back? You know, give me some feedback, guys. Put it in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up, easiest way to show your appreciation. Share it if you can, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Check out the other videos if you have not. We do a lot here, especially for the nostalgia of the adult collector, talking about toys, action figures, comic books, the industry itself. We do tours of conventions, lots of things on this channel for the adult collector. So please do join us if you have not before. And if that's it, then what more can I say? But thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.